With January, every year the cycle of wanting to better ourselves begins again. We make all sorts of new resolutions. Or wait, is it goals, plans, intentions? How do we know? It's hard to know which one, simply because these terms are often used interchangeably. And if you don't know what a term is, then you won't know how to use it. This is especially true for these four concepts that we use as tools to change our lives. So I thought I'd give you a leg up. I created a series of 3 videos where I will unpack these concepts with the intention to bring some clarity and understanding around them to you. So this is video 3 of 3. Let me recap. In my first video, we talked about what these and each of these terms meant. In video 2, yesterday, sorry, I talked about what's the connection between these concepts. And today, I want to focus on how you can find your answers to these concepts, how you can use them to change your life. I want to give you the examples and the exercises that I use. I want to share them with you so then you can use them as well and get you started. Because remember, my message from part 2 was there's nothing wrong with only choosing one. You have to start somewhere, then start with one, and that will get you to level 1. Because growth happens one step at a time. So get going, get started, get comfortable and knowledgeable about these terms, and move to level 1 so that from level 1, then you can move to level 2. All right, so let's get going. I have a cool visual for you here, and then I will explain. So, how to find your resolution? Well, if resolution is a promise to yourself to do or not to do something, then resolutions are usually something very specific, like a specific solution to a specific problem in your life. Now, we tend to focus on the negative things that we lack on when we think about resolutions. And why is that? That's usually because we are better at knowing what we don't want rather than what we want. So it's okay to tap into this wisdom. And these are the questions that I use to tap into that wisdom of mine. I use the question of, what problem do I really want to solve in my life right now? The second question I use, what do I want less of? And the third question I use, what do I want more of? So here, these 3 questions will get you started in figuring out your resolutions. All right, let's move to intentions. How to find your intentions. One of my favorite exercises to discover my intentions behind anything to do is called the 5 whys exercise. Remember to frame your intentions using positive language. And I love this exercise. You can find more about it online of what it is. It's basically asking 5 whys, asking yourself 5 whys, starting with one problem that you're trying to solve, and just keep asking. You repeat the first one, well, why do I want this? And it's amazing once you get to the 5th one what shows up. So I highly encourage you to try it out. Another thing that I do is I like to hold myself accountable by asking myself these additional questions on a daily basis. A, how do I want to show up today? And this is a pretty powerful question, especially in the morning, especially when you face a stressful situation. Just pausing for a minute and asking yourself, how do I want to show up right now? It's very powerful. B, if I'm honest with myself, what kind of a person do I want to be? Like, this is also a powerful question, especially when you are creating some intentions around relationships with others. So this is people to people relationships. This can really help you. C, what do I want to work on in my life? And this will help you to self-reflect, to be aware of what of the things that others told you, feedbacks, comments, some of the things that you yourself feel like that you can grow more. And this will remind you. This question will bring those answers in. And then let me give you two more bonus questions. D, what is my deepest wish for myself? And E, how will I respond to different life situations from my deepest intention? So these two, I didn't put them on the slide. They're a little bit deeper. I'd say work on the first three and then take on the fourth and the fifth one. Now, I also want to share with you that the answers to these questions help me to make my intentions stick. And here, literally, I mean to stick, because I write them on a sticky note and stick them on the mirror or on my fridge door so I can see them every single day. This exercise of sticking them literally so I can see them helps me with visualizing my intentions. It's a great one. It like burns into my memory. And it also helps me to remember them when I'm in the middle of wanting to make a decision and I want this decision to align with my values and to what really matters in my life. So it creates that alignment between my values, my decisions, then my thoughts, and and then my actions. So creates congruency. Again, I highly recommend this exercise. All right, well, let's move to how you find your goals. Well, I like to give myself permission to imagine a joyful outcome that would support my intention. A future external result that would put a smile on my face. Yes, you've probably noticed I'm a positive person. I like to smile. I like to think about what are the good things in my life and what are the good things that could be in my life. So part of this exercise is putting myself in that mindset. I let my goals light me up and fill me with excitement. I use stretch goals or puzzle goals. These are just different goals that fit together like a big puzzle. So that gives you a sense that some goals can stand alone or they can connect to each other. I use both kinds. So, to have a better understanding of my goals, I ask myself these three questions. One, if money wouldn't be an obstacle, what would I want to achieve? Two, if time wouldn't be an obstacle, what would I want to achieve? And three, if resources wouldn't be an obstacle, what would I want to achieve? Now, I want to share with you a secret. After this exercise, I usually discover my thought limitations and my biggest obstacles. Because we're so tend to think about limits and limited to, yes, these three: money, time, resources. So when you take it away, sorry, then you discover your own thought limitations. So once I discover my own thought limitations and obstacles, I use this information to formulate my next steps. And hint, these next steps turn into my plans. So again, there's flow in doing all these and then connecting them together. All right, so that was the goals. Now let me share with you how you can find your plans. For plans, I usually use these three tools to create them. Of course, I have found some out, as we said, from the exercise of finding the goals. And then this is how I put, rubber to the road. I use the if-then tool to build new habits to support my goals and intentions. I discovered this tool Actually, I talked about this researcher in part two. I discovered it. I discovered it as I was reading and researching about Peter M. Golbitzer's research. He's the one who did research on implementation intentions, and then he came up with this tool, if then tool. And what this tool really is formulating a specific plan for when and where to take specific action towards a goal by linking intention to behavior and to action. And he showed that this can significantly increase the likelihood of achieving that goal. So I use it as well. I will put a link into a few books that I read, and I'm using some tools from those books on habit building. Check them out in the video notes. All right, the second tool I use for plans is that I add my tasks to my calendar. So I discovered this cool trick where in the past I created a to-do list, and then I was searching for my to-do list, and then they disappeared, and I crossed things out. Then there were some things that I never crossed out. I just kept moving. So I realized my execution was pretty poor. So I found this new method that works for me is that I put my tasks on my calendar. I again create the habit of creating time for them by literally setting a time for them in the future. It works really good. I highly recommend it. And then my third tool that I use is that I ask a friend to be my accountability friend for a certain period of time. So I'm really serious about something that I want and I create a plan, I want someone to know about it and hold me accountable. And for me, accountability means someone that I count to, being able to give an account. So I can tell someone what are the things that I'm doing. If I'm not doing them, if I'm finding obstacles, then how do I solve for those obstacles? Again, this is another great tool that I highly recommend. I use this accountability friend for a period between 30 and 90 days, but I also had an accountability friend for a whole year. So again, it depends on what your goal is. So I hope this all helped you. I really hope that this awakened your curiosity. I'm inviting you to play and create your own examples. It's really cool to go through this process and to give yourself the time and space this month to work on these concepts. And I really believe that by the end of January, you will be all set to start working on what really matters to you this year. And as always, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks for listening.